Hey everybody, thank you again for tuning into the Boldly Becoming podcast. Here, your host, Carter Cundiff, the photographer with Kate Styles Photography. I'm here to let you get to know me a little bit more today. I'm actually, I know you've gotten the chance to hear me talk a little bit about why I want to start the podcast, but now after hearing, hopefully you've listened to some of the episodes already, but if not and you're tuning in new, again, I am the photographer with Kate Styles Photography that wants to share the stories of our clients. They get to share and shed all of the skin here in the studio, literally, and not literally in the sense of getting rid of skin, but they're shedding down to their skin with boudoir with some of the things that we do for them. However, they get to share their stories, and I wanted a place for them to share them even further with the people that truly needed them, and maybe you didn't have a community to lift you up or even give you the inspiration to keep going, because I know, girl, there's been days where I've needed that myself, and honestly, that's why I've created the space that I have in the studio. That's why I've created this space when I network or interact with people that I love. It just matters to me because I know what it feels like to not have something. I know what it feels like to feel really passionate about something in your life or a category of life or what you love in some areas, but not everybody is for it, right? So you have to find your people. You have to find your communities, and sometimes it's multiple. But here in the studio, we love getting the opportunity to let you feel all of the categories and get highlighted in photos in all of the categories, honestly, just to be heard and understood. And even sometimes if it's not our jam, we're here to highlight and celebrate you in that aspect, because this is your life, this is your legacy, and that's what these photos become. So what better way for me to kind of dive into how I can do that than tell you about the process, tell you how Carter Cundiff and her photography brain and creative brain ticks. Well, for me, it's kind of a lot of things. And I'm actually a certified shaman, and that is something that definitely goes into the process for me. But you'll be kind of interested, and you might be surprised that it's really just everyday habits, things that I've learned, some tools in my toolbox that for some ancient techniques that I've learned that really it's stuff that I kind of was already doing before I was a shaman that really have just been enhanced now that I know what that does for me. So let me kind of walk you through the process of kind of working from the beginning of a client to working through the end. And really it's how I'm feeling, because I'm somebody that, if you've ever done human design, I'm an emotional authority. So how I make decisions, how I kind of walk through life, my superpower are my emotions. So for all you baddies out there that have been told that you're too much for feeling feelings, you're too much for having those feelings in an unfortunate moment when you need to just get it together, feel the feelings, honey, because you need them to thrive. And that's what I've learned. So just if you ever need a moment, put that cape on, shake it off, dust it off, let it get the wrinkles out, and then run, because feeling those feelings are only going to help you better understand perspective. They're going to help you better understand how you're feeling in this moment. Maybe it's to help you make a decision because it might not feel right for you. That's also intuition. So all these things just to kind of start it out. But so when I'm working with a client, I'm very high point, high touch in the sense of I'm curious. And this is how I best create for you, because for me, I am very visual and I have to start somewhere with you. So why are you coming in? And with that, we talk down to a point of, are there words that matter to you? Are there feelings that matter to you? What are we celebrating and highlighting? Whether that's for your business, because honestly, with branding and business, more than ever now, it's telling a story. It's being able to share your why, but even more than just like the typical why that's buzz nowadays. It's truly like, what is that core that you feel on the inside that wakes you up every single day to do this? Because I mean, if you're a business owner, even if you work for another job that's like a 9-to-5 or a corporate, I mean, if you want to enjoy life, you have to really be connected to what it is that makes you passionate, what fuels it, what ignites it for you. So we talk about all of those things. And to be honest, I'm just curious by nature. I also need to understand perspective. And that is just a gift that I get gifted by you guys coming in as clients, is you're sharing your environment that you grew up in. You're actually sharing your rose-colored glasses. So And what I mean by that is we all have different environments we grew up in. We all have different perspectives from the things that we've lived, the ways that we've walked through life and how things have happened to and for us. And sometimes me and maybe one other person, we've gone through the same life experience, but because other things are happening, we experience that particular event differently. So that's what I mean when I'm saying I'm walking through your life with you, or I'm walking through your business with you. I'm understanding what it means to walk in your shoes. And so because I'm curious, because I'm inquisitive, I'm asking deeper questions. I'm actually wanting to kind of, almost for, like how it feels for me is I'm kind of like feeling the texture of what the story means. It's that interwoven fiber throughout like who you are. It's how I see and then as you're talking about those words, as you're talking about certain situations or feelings, or like truly like describing inspiration or showing it to me, imagery is popping up in my head. I am imagining what it is that you're walking through. And what happens there is this very important piece. One, you're getting vulnerable with me. I'm doing my best to help you feel as comfortable as possible, because in order for us to get the essence of who you are out in these photos, which is my end goal every time, I have to give you the trust. Like I have to help you feel safe in the space with me. And that's on a call, that's actually in person while you're here. Like that goes throughout the entire process. And once we get to that point, I'm able to see deeper into what's going on with you. I'm able to read between the lines and actually hear things that you're not even saying. Because what the beauty is of working with women for over the last like 20 years in photography and other creative outlets, I'm able to compare different stories. I'm able to compare similarities, but it's funny how the word empowerment can mean something completely different for 3 different women. It can be similar, but it looks different. Like say it means the same thing, but then how you want to like look in that can be very different. So somebody could be empowered by feeling luxury and feeling that simple elegance, like think of just kind of like smooth and sleek wear, but then you have beautiful luxury jewelry. But someone else can feel empowered by wearing leather and feeling like, let's be honest, a fucking badass. And so again, those are just like 2 very like minor caricatures of what that could look like for different people, but that's stuff that I'm constantly dealing with in the studio. So again, I'm taking your perspective, your life environment, and I'm meshing what that means for you and how I understand it, how I've seen it so far. Plus, I mean, again, with that gift that I'm getting from you by you sharing your story or sharing your environment, I'm getting to go out into the world and interact with other people even more intentionally. And that's what makes me so excited to kind of do what I do, because then it lets me love on people in my life even better, or at least that's my hope. I can understand people even better. And I think that's how, that's what I hope for the world, and I hope that we can all kind of just continue to do with each other, is learn and love and like want to celebrate with each other. So that's really getting down to the nitty-gritty of how we start that process and how we start the visuals and how we start getting creative, because what happens then is I'm your bridge. You have this vision, you have this thing that you're imagining in your head. You're translating it for me, and then I'm translating it in a way that's symbolic, that is colors that we're pulling out in the session. Maybe it's the shape of the wardrobe that you're wearing. It's the expression that we're bringing out in you. And that's how we translate to the audience, whether that's your clients, if you're a brand or business owner, your family, if these are legacy photos for you that you want to leave behind even when you're no longer here. Or honey, maybe it's just for you, because that's a big part of what we do in here is we're creating visuals that are then potentially in print so that you get to see yourself like a fucking badass that you are as often as possible. Because I don't know about you, but there's a lot of days where I have this one photo that our owner Kate took of me, and we call it the poison ivy look because I've got red hair. It was a green bodysuit that was just adorable. And we call it the poison ivy look. And I look at her on days where I'm really I'm kind of down a few notches. And, and because maybe I look like I'm happy all the time, or maybe I look like I'm really got it together, but that's just not the case. I try to bring positivity and love and light to the world, but, we're multifaceted human beings, just like we were talking about. So I look at that photo sometimes in my office and I go, you know what? I can be her today because she's me. So let's pump on some music. Let's move around. Let's say some like mantras that are helpful for what I need today, and let's go. So that's another piece too, is when I'm coming into the studio and I'm getting into the space with you the day of, there's a few different options that I kind of lean into depending on what I feel like makes sense for me for that day. Sometimes I'm in the car and I'm literally speaking like goodness and light and love into whoever my client is. I'm like, okay, so say, for example, I'm working with Janelle, and I'm like, oh, all right, so Janelle, I know she wants to feel powerful. She wants to show off her business in a way that really helps business owners understand what they need for themselves and what they need for their business to fully thrive and feel efficient. We are going to bring all the excitement, all the intentionality. We're going to focus on all the things, and I'm just going to keep like speaking into the world, into the car, into the universe, into my mind, how I want the rest of the session to go, because it matters just as much how my mentality, how my energy is going into this as it is for you, the client. It truly is a collaboration, and that's another part of that beginning process of us getting vulnerable, talking about everything, really breaking down what it is that you want, because this isn't I choose based on what you said, what this means for you. I have to have you as an equal participant to bring the essence of who you are in at the end. So that is, again, and sometimes I'm blasting music. I kind of just let my intuition guide me and kind of say, all right, today feels like an upbeat song kind of day, or I feel like I need to belt something out. And then I am like literally in the car dancing, and then I'll get into the studio, maybe touch up some things, get some stuff set up, and I'll start dancing. Because I grew up as a dancer. I was a dancer for probably 15 years before becoming an adult and just lifing. So now it's even more important to me when I get to move my body and dance and just let the music take control. And it's cool because what usually happens is the client will come in and then it's just a vibe. It's just one of those things where they're ready to go, and they pick up on my energy, because what I need to do is get rid of anything that's not for them and not mine for that day, like shed it all off, and I'm there completely with them. So that's a lot of working through the beginning point and going through how I can show up for you, and then it's truly guiding you in the posing so that we bring out the true expressions of what it is that you need. And for me, what's cool about that is I get to actually feel. So I can tell when you're nervous. I can walk you through different elements. And one thing that's fun for me, and I learned a long time ago in photography, is I want to get my clients to laugh, and especially if they're joyful expression. And we lovingly call it in the studio my opera laugh. So I will literally just at random, all right, turn this way or look at me this way. And I'm all right, do a laugh for me. And they're like, hi. And I'm no. I'm ha, ha, ha. And then they just start laughing like they naturally do, because that's ridiculous. I tell them, I can be as goofy, awkward, and ridiculous and look weird as possible just to get you to do that. So it is those elements of care that I bring into it, because I truly feel that. I feel just as tied to the end result with you as I feel like you probably do coming in and just not sure what to do. So, and really, it really comes down to, at the end, making sure that when we look at those photos on the screen, that together we're just kind of in all of you. And it's really fun to hear at the end sometimes where clients are like, man, I haven't seen her in 20 years. I didn't know she was still in there. And then what that does for me is, of course it's validation of my work, but really for me, that's the sauce. That's really what I did all of these other pieces and elements and intentionality and curiosity and perspective, and got into those things so that is how you feel at the end. Because you can have pretty pictures, you can have things that are tailored and aesthetic to whatever it is that you need, but you can't replace that feeling. Honestly, you can have a photo session and it could be one of the worst seasons of your life. When you look back at those photos, you'll always think of that. And honestly taints them a little bit. So I know because I'm a feeler, I'm an emotional being, I understand what it means to really love and enjoy the experience and like feel authentic, if that makes sense. So I know I took a handful of notes when I make sure that I'm covering all the things, just because it's so much that's involved. And again, I feel all the feelings. So kind of to bring it back around, like I said, my shamanism practice really comes into this, and I feel like it's at such a habitual level of things that I do, but I'll just kind of sum it up. So again, it's listening beyond the words that are underneath what you're saying. I'm hearing even further for whatever the core is, that first memory or that first thing that we kind of bring out of you that matters. And that's why we're doing this. It's understanding your perspective. It's getting those glasses turned on and putting the tone of how you see the world and helping me see it so others can see it with you. And then creating the images that match that. And then it's meeting you honestly where you are. Because again, it's a collaboration. And in any collaboration, you need two to tango. So I'm going to leave you with that, because I think that really truly sums up all of how it feels through me in the process, giving you a better understanding of what it means for me to be a photographer, to be in the studio and work with beautiful, loving, passionate, just incredible women like you. And hopefully this gives you a little bit better of an understanding of who I am and who I love loving on, which is you. So if you have any questions, of course, send comments, send chats, send an email. I would love to hear more and maybe tailor how I can do another episode for you guys, something like this, maybe a mini-sode. But yeah, thank you again for tuning into the Boldly Becoming podcast. I hope to see you next time.